My name is Jose, child of Benin's red dust and stubborn sun, the kind of dark-skinned woman people say was born with a drum in her chest and a fire on her tongue. If you sit with me here on Aunt Rita's veranda, where the evening breeze smells of fried plantain and exhaust fumes, if you let the generator hum fold into my voice, and the market women's laughter drift in like birds, I will open my life the way we open raffia baskets, slowly, carefully, with both hands, so nothing precious spills. I grew up watching other people's lives rush past in tinted glass. On slow afternoons, I sat on the low steps of Aunt Rita's bungalow in Ugbowo, elbows sharp as broomsticks, eyes following every big car that glided by. Black SUVs, white sedans with lace headrests, music low, air conditioning cold enough to make your bones forget your name. I would imagine the girls inside those cars. Gels like small skyscrapers, nails clicking phone screens, lips stained with the color of ripe hibiscus. One day, I told myself, one day they will look out of those windows, and it will be me looking back, not from the roadside, not from the shadow, but from the soft center of a life that fits. Aunt Rita, God bless her busy. Cracked hands, sold smoked fish and palm oil in New Benin Market. She took me in the way women in my town take in rain, with muttered prayers and a stubborn jaw. My mother left her breath on a hospital bed the day mine started, and my father, an on and off truck driver with diesel on his palms and excuses in his mouth, vanished into the kind of silence only bad roads can explain. Jose, Aunt Rita would say, tilting a fish so the sun could touch it evenly. Life is not a race. All I want is for you to find a decent job, marry a good man, raise children who won't greet me with their noses. She wanted the safe shore, but I was a girl who heard the far ocean. I wanted the kind of life that made people blink twice, rub their eyes and ask again, is this the same Jose from Ugbowo? So I hustled. I hustled with style. I did Okrika, runs from Lagos, bale by bale, until my arms knew every seam of secondhand denim. I started a skincare page on Instagram, mixing creams in borrowed bowls, taking pictures by the only good window in the house. Hashtags like prayers, glow up, melanin rich, blessings loading. It lasted 3 months and died the kind of death only a random report button can kill. I sold pastries till the smell of hot oil lived in my hair. I smiled in a boutique for 15,000 naira a month and mopped floors for free as part of the package. It's like I'm being punished for being poor, I told Ovi one evening. Our legs stretched out on the cracked veranda tiles, the sky a big orange bruise. Ovi, with her calm eyes and pharmacy job and small laugh, sighed and said, "Calm down, Jose. Success has legs, but it walks. It doesn't run." "I don't want walking," I said, thumping my chest. "I want a lift. I want elevator money. I want to enter the ground floor and arrive on the roof." It was a Tuesday morning, hot enough to fry a kara on the bonnet of a car, when Ovi burst through the gate, like an alarm clock with legs. "Jose," she panted, waving her phone like good news. "Efosa is back." "Which Efo?" I began, then remembered. Slim Efosa with the stubborn dimple. The girl who used to follow the DJ's crew at Uniben parties. The one who left for Lagos, and then, rumour said, abroad. "And so?" I asked, wringing my faded bra till it squeaked. "She's getting married." Ovi paused for drama, leaned in, lowered her voice like a gossiping radio. "To a Chinese billionaire." The words climbed into my ears and sat down. Chinese. Billionaire. I laughed first. A short, unbelieving sound. Ovi nodded like she was a pastor sealing a prophecy. "They say the man owns factories in China and Singapore. They're doing wedding carnival at Prestige Hall, GRA, international guests, big people, fireworks, Even a boat cruise on Ogba River. Are we invited? Slipped out of my mouth before pride could stop it. Only if you buy ASO AB, Ovi said, then swallowed hard. 200,000. My palm went slack on the wet cloth. 200,000 naira, for cloth. Tailor not included. The kind of money that could feed Aunt Rita's stall for months. The kind of money that could be a door or a wall, depending on where you stand. But in that moment, my eyes turned to keys. Do you think the groom will come with friends? I asked, pretending to be casual, my heart already taking flight. They say the groomsmen are rich too. Ovi said, eyes big, mouth small. Some are single. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake listening to the night recite its familiar litany. Far generators, close frogs, a couple arguing 2 compounds away. And I saw it, the life I had been rehearsing in my bones. If Efosa, who once borrowed lip gloss from me behind the dining hall, could tango her way into a life that glittered, why not me? I begged a family friend for a loan with that mix of humility and stubbornness only hungry people know. I bought the silk, the kind that thinks it's above you, and paid a top tailor to sculpt me a gown that could negotiate with a billionaire. Mermaid, off-shoulder, corset that taught my ribs manners. I bought gold shoes on credit and told the boutique girl, God will pay you through me. Jose, Ovi said in the blue hour before the wedding, when we sat on the veranda painting our nails with stubborn hope. Interracial marriage is not a TikTok trend. It's not only ni-hao and chopsticks. It's food, language, mother-in-law, winter. It's being far from home. I've downloaded an app, I said, grinning. I already know how to say hello, and I love you. Also, bring money, just in case, she laughed. But worry folded the corners of her mouth. Marriage is not Instagram. It's not filter. It's daily. Let daily be in dollars, I said, and my laugh sounded too loud even to me. Prestige Hall that Saturday looked like it swallowed a chandelier shop. Gold and white silk fell from the ceiling like obedience. Chinese lanterns floated like low moons. Edo highlife tangled with the whisper of a bamboo flute, and somehow they made peace. Guests moved like expensive perfume. I walked in with my gown, making small speeches with every step, and my wig behaving like it grew from my mother's scalp. Heads turned. Men muttered, "See, babe." With that hush, men keep for things they want to buy but can't afford. I wasn't looking for them. My eyes were a machine. That was when I saw him. No, not the groom. Round and smiling like prosperity made flesh. But a friend, tall, thin, glasses reflecting the light like ideas. Suit quiet, but proud. Mr. Lee, he owns hotels. A bridesmaid whispered, as if she was giving me a password. And just like that, my plan found its face. I crossed the room the way a person crosses a river at the narrowest part. Hello, I said, voice sugar, smile stainless. He turned, polite surprise folding his eyes. Ni hao, I added, letting my 2 words of Mandarin flex like small muscles. His face unfolded into delight. Ni hao, he replied. We laughed the way strangers laugh when language throws them a bone. Champagne did what champagne does. We danced a safe, slightly offbeat dance. We took pictures, where my filter treated his forehead kindly. We exchanged numbers. And that night, under fireworks that sowed the Benin sky with light, I added him on WeChat and typed, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Lee." Then I changed his name on my phone to Honey from China and slept with my phone under my pillow, like a girl clutching a passport in a dream. What came next moved like a film on fast forward. Messages that sounded like they were translated by drunk angels. Your beauty big. I want see your smiley eyes. You my golden hot girl. Money without begging. The kind that makes you dizzy with relief. First $100 for data. Then $300 for skincare and beauty. Then one morning, $10,000 landed like a lorry on my bank app, and I screamed so loud, even the neighbor's goat bleated in confusion. I bought a silk robe, a new phone, a box that could swallow a life, airport outfits that said, "The plane is lucky to carry me." I hired a photographer and did a shoot titled Visa Loading, while Aunt Rita watched from the doorway, shaking her head the way mothers shake their heads when prayers start to look like trouble. "Jose, are you happy?" she asked, voice small where her body was big. "Happy is not always loud, my child. I'm happy." I lied with a smile big enough to silence doubt. "When I reach there, I will open shop for you. No more fish smell on your dress." The night Mr. Lee called, with a small red box in his hand and a violin playing in the background, like accidental romance. My yes came out of my mouth so fast it tripped. He said, 2 months, and I said, tomorrow if possible. He sent the ring with a courier, and the money with a ping, and my people with drums to Aunt Rita's door. Ovi tried one last time to press pause. "Do you love him?" she asked, setting down a bag of oranges, like an offering at a shrine. "Love?" I laughed, suddenly tired of the word. "Who love Ep? He is kind, and he is a door. I will grow to love him inside the house we build, or you will grow small inside it," she said softly, looking at the floor so the truth wouldn't slap me. The flight to China tasted like long water. I pressed my forehead to the cold oval of the window and let the clouds unroll like white fufu over a blue soup. I wore my Mrs. Lee hoodie and sunglasses big enough to hide a city. At the airport, he stood with a cardboard sign that said, "Jose Lee wife," letters dancing like they didn't know where to land. He hugged me the way respectful men hug, a careful body, an awkward smile, and loaded my boxes like Judy. The apartment was tall and glassy, and full of rooms that didn't know my name. The fridge hummed with food that looked like science experiments. I told myself I could learn to eat anything if the bite had dollars beside it. We went to meet his parents in a neighborhood that smelled like old stories. Narrow alleys, red paper charms on doors, potted plants lined up like soldiers awaiting praise. Inside, the air was warm and quiet. Everyone removed shoes. I bent, my new corset reminding me that fashion is a small god with wicked hands. I almost fell. His mother's eyes flicked like a match. We sat around a low table that made my knees feel like strangers. Voices rose and fell in Mandarin, quick and layered, like birds arguing in a tree. I smiled like a painting, pleasant, blank, slightly tired. "Ni hao," I offered his mother like a flower petal. She nodded once. She spoke a long river to Mr. Lee, who dammed it into one sentence. "She say you look very different." "Different how?" I asked, the corset biting me like a jealous ant. "Just different," he said, soft smile. I did not know then that different could mean loud, bright, open, wrong. They served food that stared back. Little eyes in clear soup, black eggs that looked like midnight stones. Jellyfish dressed like wet lace. I asked for rice the way a child asks for her mother at night. "No rice today," he smiled, pushing a plate toward me. Sea cucumber, jellyfish. I chewed the way people chew on their pride, slowly with water close by. His mother handed me a gift, wrapped like a rule, a white scarf. I lifted it and thanked her with my 2 surviving Mandarin words. She spoke. Mr. Lee translated. "She say wear it more. Your top 2 open." I tucked the scarf around my shoulders, in a house that was already chilly, and told myself this was culture, not judgment. The city didn't care I had arrived. It stretched on, efficient and indifferent, trains opening their mouths on time, traffic moving like choreography, faces passing mine without a second look. Language turned me into a mime artist. I acted out my life. In a supermarket, I squatted and folded imaginary tissue. my hands performing the story of toilet paper, while the shopkeeper tried not to laugh. I told a driver I wanted to buy chicken, and my app told him I wanted to marry his grandfather. He laughed till tears fell, and I laughed till water gathered silently behind my eyes. At night, I lay on the wide new bed and let the ceiling tell its white lie. I pressed my ear to the silence and wished for the familiar noise of home. Aunt Rita scolding a rat in Yoruba, as if it would obey. Ovi's knock with its little rhythm. A distant generator playing bass guitar. High life from a bar trying to out-sing the night. Mr. Lee would roll over and wrap his arm around me like a question mark, and I would curl into him like an answer that didn't fit the exam. One evening, when the sky turned a clever, expensive grey, and the wind smelled like rain that had read too many books, Mr. Lee came home with a tired face and a stomach that asked for comfort. "I want food," he said, dropping his keys with a sigh. "Real food. Today you will eat 8-0 special," I announced, joy inflating me like bread in an oven. I had searched 3 African stores and argued with a Chinese butcher in broken English and elaborate hand gestures. I pounded yam till the pestle wrote its own saga in my shoulders. I brewed black soup the way my mother's sisters taught me. Bitter leaves singing their ancient bitter song. Meat soft like an apology. Oil the color of sunset. He sat. I presented the bowl with the pride of a small nation. He pinched the swallow, the way a man touches a new animal, suspicious and curious. He dipped. He swallowed. 1 second. 2. His eyes widened. Face reddened. Hands went to throat. "Water," he croaked. "Water!" Panic ran around the room, tearing its hair. I banged the cabinets, spilled half the filter, patted his back, prayed the kind of short, rude prayer, "God hears first." We ended in a hospital, bright enough to blind a lie. The doctor was kind in the efficient way of people who do not have time for your feelings. "No more sticky balls," he said, writing on a paper. Too sticky, too heavy. He'd choke. I sat in the corridor with my scarf around my shoulders, my pot of pride leaking quietly in my hands, listening to the strange music of machines that don't know how to sing. That night he snored on the couch, with tissues sticking out of his nose like surrender flags, and I sat on the rug and looked at the ring on my finger till it blurred. I thought of Aunt Rita's fish, flickering in hot oil, of New Benin Market, where the air is honest, of Ovi's laugh and her question that refused to fade. "Do you love him?" I thought of the girls from my street who still walked past tinted windows, of the girl I used to be who wanted soft life so badly. She forgot life is a muscle you build, not a fabric you buy. I remembered the first time I tried to say, "I love you" in Mandarin, and my app turned it into, "I need your umbrella." How we both laughed, and he kissed my forehead anyway. I remembered his mother's white scarf, how it scratched slightly at my neck, and how if I loosened it just a little, I could breathe better. The next morning, before the city put on its serious suit, I stood by the wide window and watched the world behave. I pressed my palm to the cold glass and drew a small heart in the condensation like a child. I whispered to the quiet apartment the way women speak to newborns. Slowly, softly, with patience I did not know I had. "Jose," I told myself, "na here you day. You wanted more. See it, touch it. Now grow inside it or push its walls gently till it learns your shape." Mr. Lee shuffled in, eyes puffy, throat cautious. He smiled the guilty smile of men who can't swallow culture, but don't know how to spit it out without hurting your pride. "Tea?" I asked, and the word finally came out in his language, without the app's help. He nodded, surprised. A little boy in a big man's body. I made tea the way nurses in Benin make it, sweet enough to negotiate with sorrow, hot enough to wake sense. I tied the white scarf, not to hide, but to see if, by some small miracle, Wearing another woman's rule could feel like wearing my own decision when he sat and took the mug. Our fingers touched. Not electricity, not fireworks, not Instagram, just human heat. The tiny anchor that keeps people from floating away in foreign rooms. I will learn, I said, my voice a mix of English and hope. Your words, your food, your mother's way, but you too will learn. My spices, my loud laugh, my black soup with training wheels. He laughed carefully, then properly, and the apartment relaxed its shoulders. I am not naive. Love without language is a long road with too few signposts. Ambition dressed as romance will eventually change its clothes in front of you, and you will decide whether to look away or watch and learn the real names of things. But I know this, God did not bring me all this way to make me small. If this life will be mine, I will grow in it the way vines grow, finding cracks, sunlight, patience. If it will not, I will pack the pieces of myself, all the hard-earned shine, and walk back into a world that knows my rhythm. Head high, wig steady, feet sure. For now, I am a dark-skinned Benin girl in a high-glass apartment in a city that pronounces my name like a question. I answer anyway. I tie a white scarf because a woman who birthed my future asked me to, and later I untie it because a woman who birthed herself asked me to. I burn my tongue on tea and laugh at my own accent. I send voice notes to Aunt Rita, describing snow we do not have and escalators that do not stop. I tell Ovi I am learning to say I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm trying in Mandarin, because those are the sentences that build a life. At night, when the neon makes false promises outside, and the heater hums like a quiet old man, I close my eyes and braid my dreams with both hands. One hand dipped in ogbono, the other smelling of jasmine rice, because a woman can carry two worlds if she balances with her heart. If you ask me, Jose, do you regret? I will say the truth, the way hot palm oil says it in a pan, sharp, clear, leaving a mark. I regret that I thought wealth alone was a language. I regret that I laughed at love like it was a small joke. But regret is not a house. It is a bus stop. I will not live there. Tomorrow I will go to his mother and say good morning, with my mouth soft and my eyes brave. I will fold dumplings with her and hide my laughter when the dough sticks to my rings. Later, I will teach her to tie wrapper and watch her hips remember a freedom she didn't know she had. Mr. Lee will try jollof cooked with humility and a small spoon, and I will try hot pot with chopsticks that will not defeat me forever. We will fail one day and fight the next and apologize in words that don't fit neatly. And maybe, just maybe, we will build something that looks like a bridge with our names carved on both ends. I am Jose, ambition with ankles, laughter with teeth, stubborn hope wrapped in a body the color of honest earth. This is not the soft life I ordered, but it is the life that arrived. And with God, with grit, with the memory of Aunt Rita's fish, and Ovi's eyes that see further than fear, I will learn to eat it, spice it, bless it, one small bite at a time.